Alright guys, welcome back. Welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to configure initial switch settings. We're going to verify default switch configuration, configure a basic switch configuration. We're going to configure a MOT, message of the day banner. We're going to save configuration files to NVRAM, which stands for non-volatile RAM. And then finally, we're going to set those same configurations on our switch number 2. We're going to use here this simple basic topology, utilizing two PCs connected to each of their own switches that are linked. We're going to secure access to the command line interface and console port using both encrypted and plain text passwords, and we're going to configure messages for other users who log into the switch. These banners are also used to warn unauthorized users that access is prohibited. So to begin, we're going to verify the default switch configuration on switch 1. I'll get this one on top. Looks like I have some leftover commands here. I'm going to exit out. That way I'm back at the beginning. So to begin, we are going to get to our console line here on switch 1. We're going to type enable to get to privilege exec mode. And once we're in privilege exec mode, you may notice that the hashtag appears that indicates that I have entered the privilege exec mode. We're going to next type in the command show running config. Show running config allows me to verify the current switch configuration. I'm going to type in show run as a shortcut. Here I can see my device has a host name, switch. My default spanning tree mode is PVST. You might want to remember that. It will become important later. We have some different interfaces here. This switch has 24 fast Ethernet ports, and we have 2 gigabit Ethernet interfaces. So to answer the first 2 questions, how many fast Ethernet interfaces do we have? 24. How many gigabit Ethernet interfaces do we have? We have 2. So what is the range of values shown for the VTY lines? Well, I have VTY line 0 to 4, and I also have line VTY 5 to 15. Which command will display the current contents of non-volatile random access memory, NVRAM? Well, that command is show startup config. Enter. However, you may notice that we're getting an error message here indicating that startup config is not present. And why is that happening? Because we have not yet saved any configurations to our startup config. With non-volatile random access memory, any configurations that we save with our copy run start command, or you can use the write command, those will store to NVRAM, which is stored in which is also present as your startup config after you've reloaded the switch. So in part 2, we are going to create a basic switch configuration by first assigning a name to this switch. And to do that, we're going to enter global configuration mode, conf t. It's my little shortcut there that I like. I'm going to type in the command hostname, and we're going to call this switch S1, and then we will exit. Notice that at the prompt, switch hashtag no longer appears, and we are now looking at S1 hashtag. Next, we're going to secure access to the console line. To secure access to the console line, we're going to access config line mode and set the console password to let me in. So to do that, I'm going to enter global configuration mode. Notice that all the important juicy stuff, you have to access those commands from global configuration mode. Your privilege exec mode allows you to do numerous things, but it's very limited. So from my global configuration mode prompt here, I'm going to now enter console line configuration mode by going line con 0 for line console 0. I'm going to type in the password that we want to set there as let me in. Now this login command I'm typing is extremely important, very, very important. Without it, you're not activating the ability to log in, to dial up, log in, and type in a password. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out, and I'm going to exit out. Next thing we're going to do is actually verify that the console access is secured, which is why I backed out. We're going to, we've already exited the privilege mode, and now we're going to try and get back in. So I am here, back at the screen. I type enter. I am prompted for a password at the console line. So we have now verified that that password definitely works. So I'm going to type let me in to get back in. And the thing that we're going to do next here is step 4. We're going to actually secure privilege mode access. So from my prompt, I'm going to enter privilege exec mode. We're going to set an enable password to Cisco, and notice that the Cisco password here is using a number 1 for the I, $ for the S, letter C, and a 0 for the O. So we're going to go conf T, and we're going to say an enable password C1 $C0, enter key. Now, in order to verify that privilege mode access is secure, we can exit. I'm going to exit once, and I'm going to exit out again. Now here is the console password let me in. I'm going to type enable, and I am prompted for the Cisco password C1 $C0. So we have verified that privilege mode access is secure. That password did take. Now, another way that we can check that command has been entered, we can use a show command. Show commands are very, very popular among the verification processes when configuring network devices. We're going to run show running configuration command. I like the shortcut show run. Enter. And here we can see that password has in fact been stored in the running configuration. We're going to configure an encrypted password to secure access to privilege mode. We're going to do that by going conf T, enable secret, keyword is secret, password. And we're going to type in it's a secret for that one. And then we will exit, and then we will verify. So from my privilege exec mode, we're going to go conf T. We're going to type in enable secret. It's a secret. And we're going to type enter. Then we'll exit. The enable secret password that we just typed in is going to override the other enable password. If both are configured on a switch, you must enter the enable secret password to enter privilege exec mode. So now we're going to verify that enable secret password has been added to the configuration file. We're going to do that by typing in show run. And here you can see that we have two different passwords. We have an enable secret and we have an enable password. However, the enable secret is the encrypted password. And this password is the one that is going to override the enable password, and is what you would have to type in order to gain access to the privilege exec mode. In step 8, we're going to encrypt the enable and console passwords. So notice that in step 7, the enable secret password was encrypted, but the enable and console passwords that we've set, those were still in plain text. So we can use a command to encrypt those plain text passwords, and we can also have that command will also serve us by encrypting future passwords that are going to be set on the switch. So in order to do that, we're going to use the service password encryption command. So from my privilege exec mode, we're going to go conf T. And that command is service password encryption, enter, and I'm going to type exit. And the question was, if you configure any more passwords on the switch, will they be displayed in the configuration file as a plain text or an encrypted form? Explain why. And as I previously mentioned, the service password encryption password will serve as a means of encrypting any current and future passwords that are configured on the switch. In part 3, we're going to configure a message of the day banner. This feature will allow you to configure messages that anyone who logs into the switch will be able to see. This message is called message of the day, or MOTD banner. Enclose the banner text in quotation or use a delimiter, just like any character, that's different from the characters that are appearing in the MOTD string. So from our privilege exec prompt, I'm going to go conf T to get into global configuration mode. I'm going to type in the command banner, MOTD, quotation marks. This is a secure system. Authorized access only. I'm going to go ahead and add in violators will be prosecuted. Prosecuted. I'm going to type the quotation mark at the end. And then we'll exit. And the question is, when will this banner be displayed? Well, let's see. Let's exit out. And I have completely exited from our switch. I'm going to hit the enter key to try to get back in, and voila. Here's our message of the day banner here. I am prompted with my console line password. Let me in. I'm going to type enable to get to my privilege exec mode. That password was changed to it's a secret. I am now at my privilege exec mode, and in our next step, oh, and that banner, why should every switch have an MOTD banner? Well, it's useful for providing information to other administrators who may need to log into the switch to complete configurations, and also it serves as a legal notice to those who are not authorized at access. It serves as a warning that can protect the owner of the switch legally, that in the event that this device is stolen or compromised. So now we're going to save configuration files to NVRAM. Verify that the configuration is accurate using the show run command. So we'll go show run, and let's make sure everything is set. Notice that our passwords previously configured here, like the enable password, it has been encrypted thanks to that service password encryption command, and also our console line password has been encrypted as well. And here goes our banner, our message of the day banner. So now we're going to save our configuration file. We can use the command here, copy running config to startup config. That's going to allow us to save the configuration, the running configuration file, to the NVRAM to ensure that the changes made are not lost if we reboot the switch or if it loses power. We do have a shortcut command, copy run start, which stands for copy running config to startup config. Press enter. Enter again to accept the default in the brackets, and it says OK. And I've just answered this one, copy run start. We're going to examine the startup configuration file, which command will display the contents of NVRAM. Let's revisit that command from earlier. It was show startup config, enter, and voila. We no longer get the prompt that indicates that there is no startup config file present, because all the changes that we have made have been stored in our running configuration. And finally, we'll wrap this up by configuring the same on switch 2. I'm going to go ahead and close out switch 1, open up switch 2. Switch 2, I'm going to press enter, and we're no longer given the steps to type in, but those weren't very difficult, and let's try our best to type those in without looking. So we're going to type the enable command to get to privilege exec, conf t, global configuration. I'm going to name this device hostname S2. Enter. Next, I'm going to protect access to the console using let me in password. So to get to configuration line mode, I'm going to go line con 0. And we're going to type in an enable password of Cisco enable password C number 1 $, C0. And then we're going to type in an enable secret password of it's a secret. It's a secret. Next, we're going to configure a message to those logging in the switch, and that message will read authorized access only, unauthorized access is prohibited, and violators will be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So we'll do that by going banner, MOTD, quotation mark, unauthorized banner done. Now we're going to encrypt all plain text passwords. So to do that, do you remember the command? With service password. By the way, if you ever get stuck, you can use context sensitive help, which is a quotation mark, to give you a hint as to which commands are available that begin with the letter S. Here I see service. I can hit the tab key for autocomplete. Hit the question mark. What else do I have available? I have DHCP, password encryption, and timestamp. Well, we want password encryption. I'll hit the tab key to complete. Enter. We have encrypted our passwords. Now we want to ensure that the configuration is correct. How do I verify that it's correct? I do that by going to show command, show run. If I'm already in configuration, global configuration mode, I can put the word do in front of show run and it will still work. In privilege exec mode, you only have to type show and running config. So from here, I see that my passwords have been encrypted. My message of the day banner shows here. Something's missing. Something is missing. My line configuration password is missing, my line console password. And the reason why it's missing is because I did not type in the login command. So I'm going to go back to console configuration and I am going to set that password C1 $C0, enter, and I'm going to type login. So now you see the importance of typing in that login command. So now I'm going to run it again. And there we go. My password has been configured and it is stored there in the running config and it has been activated with the login command. We're going to save the configuration file so that way we can avoid losing anything if the switch is powered down. So I'm going to do copy, run, start. If you were in privilege exec mode, you can just type copy, run, start. Hit the enter key, hit the enter key again, and we are done. Thanks for joining, guys. I hope that this has been helpful, and I'll see you next time.